Hello, my name is Cherry Neal, and I'll be talking about two broad topics, climate change and biodiversity, and just how closely they are linked. Here we see a global heat map, and today we're going to think about how changes in the global climate can cause changes to biodiversity in even small-scale ecosystems. Let's make sure we're all on the same page. What exactly is climate change? Weather refers to the day-to-day changes that we experience in temperature or humidity. Climate refers to the long-term weather patterns for a certain area. So when we talk about global climate, we are describing the sum of all the Earth's climates around the world. Global climate change thus refers to the overall rise in average temperatures of our Earth's atmosphere and oceans. So what causes climate change? 97% of climate scientists agree that humans have played a critical role in the rapid warming of the Earth. And we've done this by contributing large amounts of greenhouse gases to the atmosphere. Water vapor, methane, and carbon dioxide are a few examples of these greenhouse gases. As you can see from this pie chart, humans have added carbon dioxide to the atmosphere through burning fossil fuels, to agricultural practices, and to electricity production. In fact, various forms of electricity production account for over 3/4 of our entire carbon dioxide emissions. While the greenhouse effect is a natural process for the Earth, the increase in greenhouse gas emissions since the Industrial Revolution has led to an enhanced greenhouse effect. Normally, our Earth has just enough protection to keep us warm and to release the heat we don't need. However, with an increased blanket of greenhouse gases, more of the sun's heat gets trapped in the Earth's atmosphere. This enhanced greenhouse effect has not only warmed the planet, but has led to an increase in heat-related natural disasters and threats to human life. These include massive tsunamis, frequent tropical cyclones, unnatural wildfires, and toxic smog in major cities. These events demonstrate the raw power of the changing climate and its ability to affect all areas of the world, no matter the habitat or ecosystem. The largest habitat by far that is affected by climate change is the ocean. This graph shows the change in average surface temperature of the world's oceans since 1901. With the majority of oceans increasing by 2 to 3 degrees Fahrenheit, temperature-sensitive animals in certain areas have not been able to survive, and tropical storms are projected to increase in frequency and intensity within the century. With the help of satellites, scientists can monitor climate change from outer space. Here we see an eyewitness account of the melting of the polar ice caps. Due to the additional heat trapped within the Earth's atmosphere, these polar caps aren't able to fully refreeze every year and are diminishing in size. From September 1984 to 2016, there has been a rapid and extensive reduction in ice cap coverage. Even in our own backyard, we see that rising temperatures give wildfires the perfect resources to thrive: hot air and dry trees. This graph shows the increase in total acres burned by wildfires in the western US since 1960. There was a drastic increase in burned areas from 1990 to 2010, and though this graph doesn't show it, the impact that wildfires had in 2017 was especially devastating. So what is biodiversity and how is it affected by climate change? Biodiversity is the variety of life that exists in an ecosystem. If we're talking about animal biodiversity, it may refer to the different types of animals or many different species of the same animal that live in an area. All kinds of biodiversity are important in keeping an ecosystem alive and healthy. High biodiversity is important because all species in an ecosystem will need different foods, spaces to live, and access to water resources. If too many of one species live in one place, then they cannot survive because there will not be enough resources to go around. Biodiversity keeps an ecosystem in balance. Back to the ocean now. This photo is of the same coral before and after an extreme rise in ocean temperature. When the water gets too hot as a result of climate change, the microorganisms living within the coral can die. This loss of life decreases the biodiversity of the reef and leaves it vulnerable to additional climate devastation. Over at the polar ice caps, animals that rely on annual freezing of the ice are losing their homes. Here we can see a polar bear with her cubs adrift on a broken-off piece of ice. Very few species live in these polar regions already, so when climate change threatens the habitat of even just one of them, the entire ecosystem is thrown off balance. In the mountains of the Sonoran Desert, endangered species such as the jaguar have their habitats threatened by the intense wildfires that we discussed earlier. Without these huge cats, mountain ecosystems will lose a top predator and leave a gap in how other species in these areas function. So what can we do to slow down global warming and help protect biodiversity across the world? We can start by being conservative in our uses of energy and water. When possible, walk, ride a bike, or take public transportation. Be responsible with your garbage and reduce, reuse, recycle. These simple actions can help decrease our greenhouse gas emissions. Incorporating these small actions into our everyday lives can contribute to a larger cause. Don't let us stay on the business as usual path. Make smart choices to help us reduce greenhouse gas output and slow down climate change. Ecosystem biodiversity will thank you.